Today we're diving deep into the unfolding events on the Eastern Front, a complex, high-stakes scenario that seems to be rewriting the rules of warfare. I wanted to begin not with the ceasefire agreement reached between the Americans and the Ukrainians after 9 hours of negotiation in Saudi Arabia, but with a broader perspective. It almost feels as if, just like in Yalta, when the victors dictated the future of Europe, Russia is now being treated as a bargaining chip. Recently, Ukraine's aggressive operation, deploying 337 drones aimed at Moscow and other regions, which resulted in net casualties. While the Ukrainian attack was fierce, many argue that their efforts have fallen short in capturing territory. They attempted a kind of carpet bombing strategy. But when defense systems are pushed to their saturation point, even the most determined offensive can falter. I also want to mention a particularly striking operation, the so-called pipe operation in the city of Sint. For the third time now, the Russians executed this maneuver with increasing organization and precision, achieving remarkable results. In Vika, a similar tactic was employed through a pipeline, the very one that had recently channeled natural gas from Russia to Europe via Ukraine. This operation wasn't spontaneous. It was meticulously planned for several days. Heavy bombs were used to batter Ukrainian strongholds with the clear objective of confusing and overwhelming them. Critics find it hard to believe that from August until now, no single area was fully captured. Perhaps that's because some regions, despite being occupied by Ukrainian forces, still had Russian residents, a factor that prevented a full-scale assault similar to what happened in Dresden. When images emerged showing Russians intermingle with local civilians, it became evident that the battlefield dynamics were far from conventional. Moreover, the Russians recently employed a pipeline, only 1.4 meters high, as a strategic route. Russian special forces, including Chechens, members of the 300th Regiment, the 11th Air Mobile Brigade and veteran units, managed to traverse between 15 and 17.5 kilometers within the pipeline. Approximately 430 Russian soldiers executed this maneuver, effectively encircling around 7,000 Ukrainian troops. This forced many Ukrainian soldiers to retreat and surrender, as the defense hub, known as Suza, in that area collapsed under pressure. Then, on the same day, Saudi Arabia, an agreement was reached for a 30-day ceasefire covering land, sea, and air. Yet, paradoxically, Ukraine unleashed its largest drone attack against Russia using over 300 drones aimed at Moscow. This contradiction has left us with the critical question: can Russia really accept a ceasefire that seems to undermine its strategic interests? Analysts suggest that after the ceasefire was announced, the United States effectively froze the supply of arms and intelligence to Ukraine, calling into question Ukraine's ability to honor such an agreement. In fact, Ukraine did not insist on security guarantees from NATO or nuclear support, a move that depends the skepticism regarding its true intentions. Ultimately, we might be looking at a scenario where one side wins and the other side is forced to retreat, with the victor imposing in terms. It's a fair peace is to be reached. Ukraine must not dictate the terms to Russia. President Putin has made it clear that he envisions a new Yalta, a reordering of power that resonates with historical precedent. These events, taken together, illustrate a shifting volatile landscape where every decision in the coming days and weeks could redefine the balance of power. The stakes are enormous, and as this drama unfolds, we must remain vigilant.